We ready to rock?
We're ready to rock.
All right.
Okay.
Are we already rocking?
We're already rocking.
Oh, we've been rocking. Okay.
Lace up your chucks and pull up your panties. You're listening to Strong and Petty with Devin, Dave, and Tyler.
All right.
All right, episode 6. I said last time, a little peek behind the curtains, that we sit and do 2 of these at a time. We're all extremely busy guys, too busy for all of you listeners. So we
Don't talk to us in public if you see us.
yeah.
Don't make eye contact with either one of mine.
But we kind of sit and do all of our talking in the first hour, and then we run out of things to talk about in the second hour. So we're gonna go a little bit to like questions now. We had one that we wanted to get to right away that we thought was actually a really good question, and because there's a lot of shit questions that get sent in, but this one's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some weird ass shit. But this one I really liked. On days where you feel off, what do you do? Example, my leg days, I need my body to be 100%. If anything is tweaked, I usually skip, but feel cheated by doing so. What would the boys recommend for off days? Train through it or lower the numbers and still hit it, or skip for another day?
Off days, he means like feeling off.
Yeah, not off days. Like, so your rest days you should keep as a rest day. If you want to do steady state cardio or something just to active recovery, go for it. But in terms of that, I've been there. I've had those days where you have a certain body part, especially legs, or a big one is often bench. On my shoulder feels a little off. But legs are big ones. If guys have a specific lift that they love, they don't want to screw it up.
Yeah.
And by screwing it up and taking the day off, they probably screwed it up worse than what they did. So my opinion on that is if something's feeling tweaked, what I'll often do is I will add a whole warm-up sequence in that I normally wouldn't do. So, when I squat, I'll usually do 10, 12 working sets of squats before I hit my...
So what is this warm-up exercise you speak of? I've never seen it.
So here's what I do is I hit my hot tub, and then I get the wife to rub me down.
So step 1, buy a hot tub.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are cheap alternatives to...
Day off.
mobility work. Yeah. Spend $15,000 on an Arctic spa. This thing's actually really good.
Step 2.
Yeah, step 2. Get an
So
old-fashioned...
really step 1 is start a very successful business first. I would say.
Yes. No, start an unsuccessful business, turn it successful.
Line of credit.
Yeah. No one starts a successful business. They all start shitty.
I know that, trust me.
I've had like 14 years of bad business and a couple years of good business. No, so what I do in those days, I'll hit, like I said, like 10, 12 warm-up sets and squats. And if I'm still not feeling it, in between every set of squats, I will do some mobility work, whether it's couch stretch to get my hip flexors, depending on. I will do foam rolling. I will do some Bulgarian split squats. Anything I need to hit that area that's feeling tweaked. If by the time I get 10 to 12 sets in, if shit is still not feeling right, then I'll just dial back the numbers.
Yeah.
Then I'm just okay. If today's at 85% for X amount of reps, but man, I know there's a chance something's going to, especially if I'm in my own head that kid like this is really hurting. I'll just dial back the volume and dial back the actual weight, but still put in the volume and still get in a lot of quality reps at a lower weight. I'd rather get in sets of 3 and if I also score for sets of 5, I'd rather get 2 solid reps or 3 reps at a little bit of a lighter weight I'll just slow down the tempo, still put in the work, and then I still targeted that muscle and I didn't lose the whole muscle group for the whole week. Yeah. Now you've been doing this longer than I have and you're a lot smarter than I am.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that either.
You look worse than me.
Yeah.
I don't know about that either, to be honest. Your beard looks less gray today, though.
I use my beard straightener and then I oiled it.
Oh, it looks great. it looks very healthy.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, guys. And it
the
covers.
pretty boy of the
I just want to get to the point
where the new handsome.
I want a point where this gets down. Because I was watching the last week's episode and I'm like, holy shit, do I have tits?
Yeah.
And these shirts don't justify, especially when you guys put me in this hydra. So I want my beard to get so it actually cuts off my under boobs.
They're there.
Do you get good under tit sweat?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or the under tit tan lines.
Oh,
wow.
Have you never gotten
never
under
had that?
So
no.
when I was a kid, I went to this youth retreat, and there was a girl I liked, and I was a fat kid, like worse than this. And I sat on a chair like this all day, and I was embarrassed, right? Because I didn't want to get some fat, but I sat there all day, and I sunburned. Mm-hmm. And this girl I really liked, I was like 12 or 13 was there, and I'm trying to like impress her with, I don't know what. Maybe we're comparing titty sizes. At that age, I had her beat. And I stand up, and I look like a candy cane. I sunburned. It was red,
wow,
white, red,
that's awesome.
white. And I was so embarrassed, man. I had such under-titty tan lines.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's how you know you made as a strongman. If you can tan standing up, and you still get under-titty lines.
Yeah. Man, the horrible phases that you go through as a young white boy is like not.
It's
not good. Like we don't develop quickly, and we like have these like weird bodies, and it's just like I feel like by the time that you're like even before you hit puberty as a young black man, you're like with a six pack and a chest and stuff.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
if you're a white boy, it's just like
Nothing's developed.
nothing's good. Yeah, your hair's weird and you're just
Acne
like
everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you remember John McLaren or Doggy Mac? Bodybuilder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So him and I grew up together from
Fucking
kindergarten
nutcase.
all the way through grade 12. And we were like best friends, basically until he went down south for college and I stayed here. He eventually came back. But there's pictures from our grade 8 grad. And I just look like someone would draw a regular person. There's no caps on my muscles.
Yeah.
My torso's just like straight. There's no pecs. There's just like neck, nipples,
Like you're
belly
saying,
button.
like a kid with Parkinson's drew a.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And like you said, we didn't work out. We were 14 going on 15. We didn't work out. We just played sports. He had pecs. He had traps. There's like deep cuts in his delts. He had like an 8-pack. He's Jamaican.
He was not
Makes
a white
sense.
man.
Totally not fair.
And exactly like it's just you come out of the womb and you're like
Even when we had the basketball kids at Midtown there, you'd see all these weird because it's even weirder when you're like a really tall, gangly white kid. You're just even more awkward and strange.
Just
and
knees and elbows.
Yeah, there's those guys, and then there's these black guys who are like just like I said, like a chiseled six pack with like a mustache and like just like looking sick, and it's just like Man, I don't know. I'd probably pick a different sport if I was these white
like
kids.
the Rock's high school picture.
Yeah, like just like that. These kids are just like absolutely svelte, and it's just like okay, weird.
So let's go back to the conversation of the off day. What do you?
Oh yeah, I'm like, what do we start?
I was about to say let's go to another question.
We didn't even finish that one.
So my training now, where I'm just trying to, stay healthy and be comfortable taking my shirt off when I shower. If I'm having an off day,
I just didn't expect you to say by yourself when you like was showering. That's funny.
You probably jerk off with your clothes on.
Oh yeah, totally. Cut a hole in the front of my sweats.
I like the idea that Devin doesn't jerk off with his clothes on. Like he gets completely nude to jerk off.
You have to have testosterone enough to be able to even have the ability to do that. Yeah.
Over the covers, lights on.
Me and we turn the lights off, and I keep my clothes on.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And that's for her, not for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we knew that. There's no questioning that. Not if something's feeling off. Some days I might just walk on the treadmill and stretch because I don't have like a competition coming down the pipe. But when I was competing, and again, bring back to powerlifting, it's pretty specific. You have your movement days. But say on a squat day, if my back or my hip wasn't feeling right, you can even use a different exercise to work around injuries and still get a solid training effect. Use Bulgarian split squats to warm your legs up and open up your hips. And then maybe you feel good enough to squat after, or maybe you don't. And then I would just like hammer I would do other things to make my squat better.
Yeah.
Without, you work around that injury.
And would that not be where auto-regulating your program comes in?
Yeah. Like
this isn't right. Okay, let's target those same muscle groups or find the accessory to that muscle or that lift that's still going to build it.
Yeah.
Without.
And the way I squat and squatted, like pretty back heavy. So if I can't squat that day, like hips or knees or whatever's bothering me, it doesn't mean I can't do heavy good mornings, heavy RDLs, heavy extensions, heavy reverse hypers, and get that work in a different way.
Yeah. Well, that's what that back attack machine that I got from you guys there, that Sornex one, is great. If I'm feeling like this ain't working, I hit the back attack. It's almost like in a sense, a modified good morning sense. You can turn it into it with pushing your ass back, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Band it up. Okay, I can't handle a ton of weight today. I feel like shit. Well, I'm just going to throw a bunch of bands on.
Yeah.
And then target some, when I get low today, it's just nothing's feeling good, but I'm okay in the top half of the movement. I'll just load up some bands and really target it.
And then there's, just to finish mine. I think one thing that not a lot of enough of people put value in or think about or know about is holds and slowing down tempo. It doesn't always have to be 1,000 pounds on your back. You can go at 60% and you have slow eccentrics, slow concentrics. You're going to have a hold in the hole, pauses.
Halfway through the lift.
Those are all again, you're training for an end goal. You're not training for that day, and you can get really quality work done while, dealing with physical or mental issues that day that are kind of blocking you from what you came in to do on paper.
Well, your back hurts. You don't want to deadlift heavy that day. You're like, let's say I'm going to use deadlift. Your back's really sore. This is sore. You don't want to go to your submax where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So pick your weak spot. I'm weak just below my knees. All right, pull from the floor at 50, 60%. Pause for 2, 3, 4 count below your knees, and then pull through, and then do a 5 count extension all the way down. Now you just took that movement, made it substantially harder, but you're working that weak spot.
Yeah.
That's what I've done a lot of.
The old Smolov cycles.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy asked like if I'm not feeling 100%, which I think is asking if he literally means that, I think that's asking a lot.
Who the hell feels 100%?
Right. So you're just not like you're very rarely, I would say, would you go into the gym being like, I feel 100% good to go. Like mentally you will sometimes, but physically there's usually be some sort of fatigue or whatever. But I think that it's also if you're consistently showing up and not feeling like you're ready to go, take a step back and look at your recovery.
Yeah.
Like figure out why. And like if he's saying, okay, so he said something about like a tweak in there. So now if we're talking about like an acute, like I strained my pec. Well, that's not a recovery issue necessarily. It could be, I guess, but it's just you did something, now you just got to work around it and deal with it. There's not much you can do about that in terms of like hitting the numbers that you want to hit. If you strained your pec, you're not going to hit the bench you wanted to hit. Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
There's other things that you can do. Definitely, like I think some of the worst advice you can get is take some time off the gym. Take time off of the things that hurt what you're doing, but don't take time off the gym. Continue at the gym and keep doing what you're doing. If you're saying that like you're not feeling 100% in that you're a little run down, well, my next question to you would be like, what are you training for? Are you like if you're training for a competition that's coming up in 8 weeks, you're going to feel run down.
Yeah.
I feel like shit right now, and I have a competition coming up in 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
You should be feeling if you're feeling 100% leading into your comp prep, you're probably not putting it all in.
So that's a very normal thing, and I think the person who asked is more of just a gen pop.
I think so.
So if you're talking about like if you're talking about if you're just like a guy who likes to go to the gym and trying to look your best and whatever it might be, then you don't need to push through pain. You don't need to push through potential like tweaks or injuries or whatever. Find something else that doesn't hurt and do that until the thing heals. Yeah. Until you feel better. That advice is not the same for competitors, for athletes, for things like that. But for just a general gym goer, it's like don't make yourself worse. Yeah. And also, it's like, you're like, oh, I skipped this and now I feel bad. Well, you're going to feel worse if you do it and you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I can understand and appreciate the mentality of being like, I don't want to cheat myself and I don't want to feel like I'm being a bitch. Well, ask yourself honestly, is this something that I can do without hurting myself? Or that I think that the odds are very, very good. Yeah. And if you say no, then you're not being a bitch. You're being smart. If you say yes and you're like, but I just don't want to do it, then you're being a bitch.
If it's week after week of hey, something's not 100%, it might be you're starting to get some anxiety about a certain lift.
Sure.
And not push yourself through it. And then you need a gut check. Is it actually a tweak or am I just mentally thinking it has to be perfect or I can't do it?
Yeah. And that's the thing is that like you're asking for a lot for it to be a perfect lifting day.
Yeah.
And that's I could kind of ramble on a little more about that, but that's pretty much the idea. Is that it's just be aware of what your training goals are and be aware of how you're supposed to feel and how you're responding to what you're doing. And if you're doing enough recovery stuff at home to make sure that you're not feeling like shit when you show up to the gym.
Yeah. And then to finish, if it's a mental thing where like you're going to be bummed out if you had to change something, finish with a challenge so you can leave with a sense of accomplishment. Sure. And I think this is like a DeFranco / McDowell kind of thing. But finish a workout with 100 band press downs or 100 back extensions. Something tough but attainable. Mm-hmm. And you get a wicked pump. Yeah. And you're like, okay, at least I did something like that, and it was worth coming today. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good answer to that. Beeks, you had a couple.
I had one from a female listener.
I don't believe you.
I kid you not.
A female listener? Okay.
And asked, but she was asking.
He's like, but I deleted it.
I immediately blocked and unfollowed her.
She's one that just, I don't like her. She drives me batshit crazy.
Okay.
But she asked who the best looking strongman is right now on the scene.
Me.
Yeah. Well, she's biased towards you.
Oh, it's fucking Gian. Okay.
But it wasn't you.
The answer she wants to hear is Kevin Ferris then, but the answer in reality. No.
Is that what this is?
The answer in reality is me, but that's, it's subjective, I suppose.
But that's your reality. My reality
Is also me.
is go to the liberal side of things, but that's your reality.
Who's the
No, this is fucking reality. No, but that's your reality.
Who's the most handsome person to ever train in McDowell's? Thomas Miles. It's got to be, right?
It's got to be Thomas Miles.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He won a Grey Cup with the Bombers.
Oh, that's great.
As soon as I asked the question, I was like, Miles, obviously.
White dude.
Long hair, fucking jacked.
He had like an 18-inch neck in high school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
I've seen
Super
that guy.
stud,
Yeah.
He looks like fucking white Jason Momoa. Like he's going to...
And then you double down that he is the
Jason
nicest...
Momoa, not white?
I think he's Samoan.
I think he's Samoan.
Yeah.
You double down that Thomas is like the nicest, most respectful kid.
Yeah, he
He
was
comes
always
from
really
the best
cool.
family.
Yeah, he was always really nice.
Where you're like, I don't know, can you save something for someone else?
Yeah.
You're
like
smart,
a star
educated.
Player,
He probably stands out as the most handsome.
Who's the best looking guy in your gym?
Me. Who is the ugliest person ever to go to McDonald's?
6 feet taller, man.
The ugliest.
Fuck, you see me, I'll punch. I'll fight somebody.
No, you're ugly, but not the ugliest. Like you can't even be the best at being ugly. Yeah. You're even average at
like
that.
getting a second place in a loser comp.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I'm
There's
trying
a lot of ugly dudes.
I'm trying to think of an honest answer to who's the most attractive, like the most handsome person in my gym, and man, I'm coming up fucking
you don't
dry
have
on
very
mine.
Yeah, it's not
Like
Schwinn.
Reggie's got a great physique, I guess.
No, we're not talking body. We're
Or
talking
the face. Oh man, yeah, I guess just me then.
Oh man, that pool's dry. I'm the most handsome.
Newman still trained there. He's a good looking.
Oh,
kid.
Newman, there you go. Newman's
Newman's
the most handsome guy in the gym for
Newman's
sure.
a hunk.
Yes, yeah, I'll say Newman.
Is that Spanking Brand Newman?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Instagram?
He's the gentleman who came to the Jets and Devils game with me and babysat me.
Oh, nice.
He
Stopped you from getting.
He wore a Devils jersey that whole game for me.
Really?
Yeah, he came to the game and wore a Devils jersey with me.
Nice
so
guy.
Respect for that.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you who the best looking guy in the gym is.
Pat.
Yeah,
for sure. Pat.
we determined he's gay.
Yeah, but the gay people. Oh yeah, also there's a gay guy in my gym named Zach who's in the running for the most handsome
Pretty
too.
guy.
Yeah, very pretty.
And they're actually close to the same height.
Zach and Pat. Yeah, dream team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We gotta stop talking
Sounds
about
like
this.
sounds like a good rom-com.
Yeah.
Zach and Pat.
Pat already got pretty mad at me at the last episode there.
Zach and Pat go to the gym.
Pat, I apologize. He's probably is the best looking dude in my gym.
Pat, no question, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
fucking pissed. And he's stronger than me too.
And the second place is like way way below.
Yeah.
Were we talking about anything important, or should we move on to the next thing?
There were a couple.
You had a couple things you
had a
want to talk
couple,
about.
yeah. I only had the question from GN.
Willie's questions. Winstone.
Oh, yeah. So, thanks for talking about gear. No problem, son. Besides that, what are the top 5 sups that we think for building muscle, strongman training, dropping fat while maintaining gains, and thanks for the trifle. Hey, man, I'm glad you enjoyed that trifle.
Can I start on this one? Because I think that our answers are all going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
Supplementation is like way overdone in terms of like
100%.
Yeah, like
Supplementation is just getting what you don't get in your diet. If
right.
you suck at eating.
Yeah, and so ultimately, like for me, like so we have a deal in our gym where we retail Supplement King stuff, and the stuff that we keep there is very minimal. We don't. I only keep stuff in my gym that
I'm the same. That I use.
or that Swint would use or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have like a whey protein, which I think is across the board good for everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're lactose intolerant, of course. Yeah. I have BCAAs, which I think are very overused, but I think that they're appropriate in the right place in the right time, especially if you're like cutting weight, or if you are someone who doesn't eat red meat.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Creatine.
But people underdose it tragically.
Yes, and they just use it when they don't need to. Like they use a scoop of BCAAs and then they go home and have a steak afterwards. It's like, well, you hit the numbers you need to hit.
They use the inch workout for a flavor.
That's exactly what it is, I think.
Yeah.
Creatine, for my money, across the board, pretty much everybody can use that, and it's good for everyone to use.
I think that's one of the most best bang for your buck supplements you can get.
Creatine.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
The price has gone up quite a bit recently, but it's still relatively affordable compared to other stuff. Yeah. Pre-workout, obviously, back and forth on that one, but I don't, if you like it, use it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I use it here and there if I'm feeling like I'm just down, it's not all there that day or whatever. And honestly, that's getting, greens, a green supplement. But then again, we're talking about if you have a spinach salad for lunch, you don't need to have a green supplement.
I think one that you're missing that I really is fish oils.
Fish oils for sure. Yeah. Fish oils. Really, if we're talking about more like the pill stuff than vitamin D, fish oils, vitamin C. I like a liposomal vitamin C because it absorbs better. But like really, like there's a lot of things that you can put in front of me, and I'd be like, not that one, not that one, not that one. And it's just like it's way more things than things that I would say people need.
Yeah.
And I see like, big haul from not Supplement King anywhere else, and I'm like, oh, you didn't need any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot of money being spent on things that you just don't really need, and everything in that store is appropriate for someone.
Yes,
but not most people.
A lot of the supplements you can get through your diet by eating, and now there's people who don't eat red meat, but your creatine and your BCAAs, a lot of that comes from red meat. Sure. If you eat a lot of red meat, you end up getting a lot of those vitamins. Like I know somebody like, but my kids are chronically low in iron, but we don't eat meat.
Well, then that's going to be the problem.
That's kind of going to be the issue there.
But that's my take on it. That really it's very very minimal is what's needed, and just save money that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just don't need as much as you're probably taking.
Yeah, I
do a blood panel, find out what you're lacking in terms of your nutrients.
That's a good idea.
And then supplement according to that.
Yeah.
Janae is really good at that. Actually, she does get her blood work, and she's got a fucking fishing tackle box of pills she takes. I think I'm over exaggerating that. She'll get mad at me, but she's like, if I am like 1% low in this, I'm like, jeepers, lady. Holy shit.
I think your actual food diet matters more than any supplements.
For sure.
And I think you need to get that on track before you go the supplement route.
The simplest way is getting lettuce put on your Baconator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some roughage, some fiber.
Yeah, heavy lettuce.
Heavy lettuce.
And get your diet on track before you spend money on supplements, because they're not supplements and PEDs won't fix a shitty diet.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's to supplement your diet.
Nobody wants to believe that.
And the whole maintaining strength. How do you maintain strength while losing weight? You're generally not building muscle while you're in a caloric deficit. Yeah. And the only way to maintain it to any degree would be PEDs in a sense. The natural you can maintain a certain degree, but you're not gonna generally not building strength in a caloric deficit. You're not. It's just not happening.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But then you choose what you're trying to do in those moments, right?
Drop your weight, get in a maintenance phase, and then you'll see once you get back to maintenance calories, you'll suddenly see a bit of an increase in strength. A bit of your body adapts, and boom, also you might be hitting some PRs in a month or two. But
I think you have to be a very, very, very untrained individual to gain strength while losing weight.
Right.
Yeah. So when I'm saying that when you're not going to gain, I'm talking like higher level athletes.
Yeah.
When you got those virgin newbie strength gains, they drop 100 pounds and put on 100 in their bench. I'm like, whatever, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's because you just learned how to bench.
Yeah. I read something the other day about
Devin's just hating on his clients. Totally. Like, whatever, dude. Like you just fucking learned this. That's why.
Yeah.
Your strength ain't shit. This isn't real.
I read something the other day about what's the best program for strength.
Spam. But I can't answer those on air.
Answered it.
No, you guys, I love those phone calls.
I take those all fucking day.
I had one on the phone for 35 minutes or 40 minutes. Yeah, I had him. I went to the bank, got my Bitcoin money.
Do you guys get those like Facebook and Instagram messages
I get them on the
from scammers?
Yeah. I lead them on.
Let me help you grow your
I'll
page.
drag them for like a week.
Yep.
I got one going on right now.
Really?
Again?
It's like 4 days.
You had one a couple weeks ago that you showed me that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you just kept blowing his phone up.
Yeah. And then they always ask So what do you do for work? And I say I work for the North American Fraud Department.
So I had one. Not rabbit trail. I had one 3 years ago during lockdown times. I had a bunch of workers in my office, and I had a call from them, the scammers, and I just love it because I just go off on a rampage on them. And they hung up on me, and I called them back, and it went to them. This is before they started using, I maybe fucked this up for everybody. Yeah. This is before they started using local phone numbers. So I called them back and they answered. And I'm like, this is amazing. I had like 4 or 5 workers in my office. No, I do work. And I have 2 office lines. So I had 4 of their cell phones, my cell phone, and 2 office lines of different numbers. And I started blowing up their phones with these phone calls and just harassing them. Fucking sucks when people call you, does it? Oh, and I just, your dad's a piece of shit. Your mom's a whore. Just everything I could say to them to get them riled up. And to the point where they started blocking my number. They blocked my number, and then I called Moss. They blocked Moss' number, and I went through my workers' cell phones, and we led them on for like 20, 25 minutes until they just shut their phone line down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
This is part of like your coaching class for how to run a successful business.
This is the petty side of stuff.
You guys,
I spend a lot of my day phoning back scam callers.
You might not look at it this way, but that was team building.
For sure. Yeah, for
Because
sure.
my workers, they just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
This is how you handle a problem. And then we discussed it after and obviously, toolbox talk.
Yeah.
And no, I'm just kidding.
I also always ask them for feet pics.
And
I don't know why that always like rubs them the wrong way.
I tried getting one to add me on Facebook.
That's funny.
I'm like, can we be Facebook friends? No, you're gonna report me to the cops. I'm like, no, I won't, man. I just want to be your buddy. Tell me your Facebook name. We'll become Facebook friends. We can just chat. I'm not giving it to you. Like, we actually argued about it. He actually sat there and argued with me on the phone. I'm like, just give me your profile name. I swear I won't report you. Yeah.
It's funny because I know how busy you are.
Yeah, I can.
People have an image of me being a somewhat busy guy, and I know your life because I lived it 10 years ago. I know how busy you are. Yeah, we still make time for this bullshit.
You have to. You'll go insane if you don't, man. Like, you have to find time to mess with Indians. Otherwise, it's not going to. Indians on the phone who call you. Otherwise, it's not going to be. It will be an unfulfilled life.
Yeah,
it really is.
I joke that it's my real life improv classes.
Yeah. It's definitely a skill to think on your feet and do that. Because I kind of do the same thing where I like create like a character when I'm talking to them. And
totally.
Like, I'll be like, I'm Curtis Jackson from the Bronx or whatever.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Well, they're always trying to. You ordered an iPhone for $900. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even like iPhone. I have an Android. I'm like, for one, if you're gonna scam me, at least get the phone right.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that was a good question about supplements, I guess.
My bad, guys.
Okay, so what was the?
Do you have any more?
No, they're just things that I.
You had a topic of discussion.
you had
You wanted to bring up?
And now they've left my brain.
What was the grip thing or the?
Oh yeah. And you were talking about the frame carry and your hand tearing.
Yeah.
Like good tear.
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I deadlifted this week for the first time now since last year because my back. Looking up, my hands are ripped up.
Yeah.
And I only worked up to 300 some pounds, and my hands are just torn. I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Mine are gonna go soon from the frame. I can feel. I gotta shave them down, but they're.
Wow.
Do you shave them down?
I get like a pumice stone and
Yeah.
and try to soften them up. Otherwise, they catch that.
Do you do it in the shower?
The ridge.
No, you gotta do it in a dry.
I've never done it.
Well, you should.
I actually.
That's why your fucking hands are.
I just bite mine off.
I chew mine off too.
You do? I just rip them off with my teeth all the time.
fucking animals.
That's how you replenish nutrients.
I get my girlfriend to do a pumice stone on my hand while I sit there and watch TV. No, she. But yeah, that's.
No, he's not joking.
No, that's. I said yeah. That actually is the truth. but they if I don't do it, they get like.
I was wondering why your hands are so soft.
Yeah, they get like a real edge to them,
impressed.
and then they'll like this one's gonna. Next time I do frame of your place, it's gonna go.
That would feel so good on my. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. But the last time I got a really bad tear was Westerns last year. I don't think I tore them at Canadians, but I tore them at Westerns. They had a car deadlift, and the bar was really thin, and it would just like pull down your hand, down, and like a bunch of guys. Like I've never seen so many guys rip their hands on a deadlift before, but I had both these going,
really?
and they're bleeding real good. And then Dan went and did the U105 Westerns, and he used the same implement, and he cut up both his hands too. So
see, and I've always relied on that for my grip strength. What you were saying, how it digs in. When I grip my farmers, my frame, which I didn't grunt though, lots of guys they reach from like cam, they reach and they just grab. Where I will reach under the limit and I'll fold it into my hand, and I will use that to grip in. And I've always relied on that not tearing. Now maybe I just not lifted heavy enough.
No, that's the way you're supposed to do it.
But I've always but I chew the shit on my calluses leading into the comp. I make sure there's nothing, like I bring them right down. Yeah. And that has always, even if my grip is failing, it's literally just locked around my fat ass little hands.
Yeah.
And I've never slipped grip in a competition.
That's all I do in competition is slip grip. My grip's a little sissy boy one, so
yeah.
I tear it like every competition that there's like a farmer's or a frame or something. I got
a different pumice stone.
The pumice stone,
whatever you call it. What do you call it?
A pumice stone.
Fucking pumice.
It's not even like if you read it and you pronounced it that way, I could have understood it, but you heard me say it and changed it.
Short memory, Tyler.
But yeah, no, my grip. I mean, it's getting.
Maybe you need to chew your calluses like me and beaks.
Maybe you need the nutrients. It's getting better now, but my grip's always been very bad. So. Yeah, exactly.
You don't drink your own piss?
You keep it all in the system. I remember the first time I tore my callus was
double filter the vitamins you're taking that you don't need.
Yeah.
When you're pissing glow in the dark from your vitamins, you drink that again.
When I piss in the morning, it looks like root beer. It's
root beer.
Oh yeah.
I always say corn syrup. Yeah.
It's really bad. I don't know why. I feel like I drink enough water, but obviously I don't.
Do you ever piss during the night?
Yeah. And I'm sure it looks bad too. I just know.
So when you piss during the night, just
chug
some water before you go back to bed.
It's hard to tell when he checks the sheets in the morning.
Man. This is kind of gross, but I do have like a light pair of sheets, and you can just see like a perfect outline of my sweaty body on them.
Get away from white sheets.
They were the girlfriends before I was in the picture, I think, and so I would have definitely recommended some darker sheets, but you can just see like this just like a
the girlfriends before. I'll shoot like did you do that? So you covered up the old male figure?
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's like marking his territory.
Just over top of the old body imprint.
The first time that I tore my callus was at McDowell's doing the same frame that I'm training on right now for
the big
at your place, and I remember holding on to it, and I was like, no matter what, I'm not letting this fucking thing go. And then I felt a slip and a rip, and my hand popped off like as if it was like a tire popping. You know what I mean? It was like poof, and my hand went in the air, and I was like, "Whoa, shit, that was crazy!" And I had no idea what was happening. All of a sudden, I could just feel this like dripping off my hand. And I looked, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I'd never done any kind of strongman stuff before. I just saw the it was either the farmers or the frame together, and I was like, "Oh, let's give that a try." And it was just like drenched in blood, and I was like, "Oh, I fucked something up here for sure." And then McDowell taught me just cut her off.
Manitoba's this year. Someone on the frame, and I think it was Daniel Mondor. There's a video when his hand flew off the frame, the chunk of skin flew.
Ooh,
nice.
Gross.
And I remember, yes, I'm gonna see if there's a
need
video.
That in 4K.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
The advice that I've been given that I think is poor is like to keep the skin on and try to cover it up and whatever and tape over
Glue
it.
it back on, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way to do it. I've always just cut it off, and I feel like that's been a much better solution to the problem than anything else. I did Battle of the Barbarians.
Why if it catches, it'll just continue tearing?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like it's dead skin already. But people told me that one time, and I would try it. It doesn't. That's my advice for today for anybody doing strongman is that just cut it off.
We do the same in our genetic line. If someone's just not the part,
just cut it off.
Take them out to the pasture.
I did the Saskatchewan show last year, and I tore it on the something or other, and we're going to do stone, and I put. It wasn't that bad, the thing, so I was like, okay, I'll just leave it alone. And then I put tacky on, and I pulled it apart, and the skin just came with it, and I was like, fuck. And so I grabbed this. There was this girl there that I kind of knew. I just seen her around competitions and stuff, and I was like, hey, I really need you to help me. This is gonna be fucking gross, but just come with me. And she's like, okay. So we go to the bathroom, and I have a pair of scissors. I'm like, you need to cut the skin off my hand right now. And she's like, and I was like, it's not gonna hurt me. It's totally fine. Just please do it. And so she does it, and it does hurt because it's still there, kind of. So she cuts it off, and I was like, okay, great. And it's my turn to go next. So I'm like, okay, great, thank you. I got to go. And I'd leave the scissors in her hands with this big piece of dead skin stuck to it, like the tacky stuck into the scissors. And I was like, whatever you got to do with that, that's fine. And I just left. And then, but once you tear it off, you don't feel it anymore. You don't notice it.
No, just tear off the. Did I ever tell you when I put on the first Strongman Cotton Grunt? It would have been 2017, 18.
Yeah.
I was training a kid, Matt. He was from my gym. And he was pumped to trust. He was doing the farmers. One of my not so glorious coaching moments. So I didn't coach. I helped him in the gym. But he didn't pay me for coaching. But competition day, I was the reffing, obviously. And he was doing the farmer walks. And he gets, it was 5 feet from the finish line. And he drops the implement. And his hands are torn. Some of the worst I've seen. They tore into his fingers.
Oh, that's rough.
And me being me, when I compete and I just, pain will just happen and we'll deal with it after, right? So I'm intent and I'm yelling at him and he's shaking, but he shows me his hand. It's just blood. And I just
fucking pussy.
Yeah, I literally just yelled at him there's lots of fucking skin on your body. Pick up those fucking farmers.
That's hilarious.
And he picked him up and finished the run. And I'm like, as soon as he finished, the adrenaline left. I was like, not one of my best moments as a person here. It was some of the worst.
What an insane thing to yell! You have lots of skin. That's
what I said. There's lots of fucking skin on your body. Pick it up.
So funny.
And he did, but he was like, okay, and he did it and finished. And I'm like, that kid obviously really respected my opinion. And that wasn't the right opinion. But he finished. So that's all that matters.
Take my strong.
I know for a fact that as soon as you told that story, Deloli's thinking about the tire flip at Brick House.
Another one of my not so great moments.
Where he had flipped it enough. He had flipped it far enough. That was all he had to do. And I was like, yeah, you're good. And then Devin's like, do it again, one more time. Ryan flips it, tears his bicep. He's up for the rest of the season.
He had to get surgery.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not bad.
Hey, man. Don't be such a bitch, Ryan.
Exactly.
That's the best advice I can give.
Maybe do some bicep curls and be a little stronger. You pussy. Maybe you should do a strength program for basketball or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was their question that came in, but
what was the
I'm just kidding, Ryan. I love you. Here, I've had something not great. Man, that makes it sound bad.
Okay, wait. So what was the question we already did? The off day thing?
Yeah, the off
day.
Is there any like dumb questions that rather than
nothing? No dumb ones this week. You guys are getting soft on us.
I guess Jan's was pretty dumb.
How long could Devin live off eating Dave and Tyler in survival?
Oh,
all right. Let's see here.
But serious. Be serious. Like figure out
I'm
how
gonna
you would butcher it and stuff.
So what is the math? I don't know what the bone structure of a human body weighs. Like what a percentage is probably what when we do an animal, your live weight.
I actually know what I weigh in like lean mass.
What is your lean mass?
210 pounds with lean mass.
Okay, so now you add in body fat percentage of what? What are you running? What 25%? 22%? 25? You're not.
I swear, at 20.
33.
Yeah, so you're 20%.
About 20% body fat. Yeah.
So you're about 200. So there's about because I would want to keep the marbling in the meat
For sure.
Like I'm not, maybe I'd get a leaner farmer sausage when I grind up whatever the excess is. So let's say 260 pounds.
A lot of lean mass
I
in
eat
here,
generally
baby.
4 meals a day of beef if I'm on par with what I need to be doing. Add about 220
You have 4 meals a day of
grams.
beef?
I if I can, I do. I'll have eggs in the morning on the weekend. So during the week, I generally just have a shake or a smoothie I make. But then I have either beef for my snack, beef for my lunch, or pork, and then beef for supper.
Wow. Okay.
I like red meat.
That's great. Yeah.
And
No,
everyone's like red meat and eggs will kill you. I had bad cholesterol problems. Like my ratio is 27.9 or 28.9. It's supposed to be below.
Right.
Below 3, I think is your ratio. It was horrible enough that I had to get on statins, but that was also running some PDs. But I switched to
It's the only way to get Devin to run.
I switched to vertical diet in a sense with the red meat and stuff, and I brought my cholesterol's in the best range it is right now, and I eat red meat and eggs all the time. But anyway, so if I go back to that, let's say I eat 4 meals a day at 240 grams, but you're like 300 some grams uncooked, so 369, 12, so about 3.5 pounds. Sorry, about 3.5 pounds of meat a day.
Rain Man getting into his zone here.
Yeah, so you would last me a good 3 months.
That's good.
Yeah, and then you.
See, I would be
quality
great.
meat. You're older. You're like an old sow. So
I'd
the
be
meat
great if
isn't
you're
as-
doing keto because I'm about 70% fat.
Yeah. So he's younger. I would definitely probably marinate his steaks. He'd probably be. You're like an old sow.
Yeah.
So generally, when you butcher an old sow, you just make her into farmer sausage.
I'd be like good stewing beef.
I'd probably
Stewing
mix you
beef,
50-50.
yeah.
Probably mix you 50-50 with deer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. So would you say 3 months for me? What do you get out of beaks then?
Well, because that's farmer sausage. He'd be like sledding trips, quadding trips. Hey, we stop in the trail, make some farmer
Okay, so
sausage.
in this scenario,
Yeah.
everything else is normal. It's not like this isn't like a post-apocalyptic world or anything. This
And I'd
is
add in
just
eggs,
you've
and
just
then-
decided to kill and butcher us.
Yeah.
That's just all.
You
it
guys
is.
would probably last once a year between mixing in chickens and
I'd make a nice chili, I think, or jambalaya.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
chili. I've never done the jambalaya thing.
Jambalaya is the best.
What is jambalaya?
Like where's that
I don't
from?
know if there's like a rule for
that is
jambalaya,
that
but
what
like
It's kind of like whatever you got, right?
chicken,
Isn't it?
beef,
Yeah.
shrimp, like I feel like you just go through the fridge and
So that'd be great then, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, probably damn near a year was mixing in some meats and eggs.
I
And
come with
chips.
one piece of shrimp too, so
small shrimp.
small.
I'd eat it raw with the sauce.
Calamar.
The sauce, yeah, like the dipping sauce.
That's a good
Little
question.
appetizer.
Yeah, but you'd probably get made into farmer sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe might honey glacier hams.
Oh yeah.
That'd be pretty
They're
good.
good too.
Yeah, speaking, I just got a whole pork belly because I just got a pig butchered last week.
Nice.
And instead of getting the bacon made this time, I've never done it. I got the whole pork belly. So I'm actually going to, it was planned this weekend, but I don't have time now. But next weekend, I think I'm going to throw it on the barrel smoker.
Ooh.
Cold smoke it, get it up to, I'm going to marinate it and do some sort of rub on there. And then I'm going to smoke it with
awesome.
apple, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to try my own bacon.
That'd be
So I'll
sick.
try that next week.
Yeah.
So if I do, I'll
Nice
bring
thick
you some.
cut?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
thick cut bacon. Yeah. Yeah. So I got to get the right curing mix. Father-in-law has some from his brothers. They call and stuff different mixes. So I'm going to see and experiment. And yeah, that's my plan next week, I think.
Sick.
Yeah.
You're just going further and further into this, like, what do you call them? The guys who like store all the guns and food and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what are they called? The preppers.
Doomsday preppers?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
thanks. So my wife calls driving
Yeah.
home the other day and she's like, because I got a lot of different rifles. I was like, kid, we need ammo. do you have ammo?
She mentioned that to me when I was there too. She's like, you don't have any ammo though, and I was like, well,
you
you're
got all
gonna
these
need
guns,
ammo.
but not enough ammo. I'm like, ammo's expensive, dude. I just keep buying the guns. Well, yeah, what are the guns can help you don't have ammo? That's very cheap.
Scare people with them.
You're like real life Last of Us.
Yeah.
When that day comes, you're gonna be.
When I build my new place, and you're like, why did you need an extra 50 yards of concrete for underground? I don't know.
Why'd you bury a school bus under there? What's
We're gonna be running Deadlifts for Dreams, and he's like, look out for the trip line. No kids this year. No kids.
Why is the top of your house painted like trees? They'll never see me. Never see me from the air.
Do you go hunting?
Yeah, I haven't actually. So here I talk like, my mother's avid hunting. I haven't hunted in the last couple of years. I actually went through a bit of one of my whole depression. I ended up selling one of my nicest rifles, which I regret now. I want it back. And then I didn't do a bunch of hunting. I did a moose trip. Last time I hunted was 2 years ago. I did a moose trip on canoe with a bunch of buddies. We canoed in 7 hours. Had 11 portages. I was exhausted.
It sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah, and it was rainy and miserable. And another place set up was on a rock. Build your house on a rock. But we set up our tents there, and we had tarps up trying to stop the wind. It was cold, miserable. I shit my pants during the night that night. I'll tell you a story with that one. But, so that the one line there, we each got single tents. And because you always hear people getting shot during other trips, but you always make sure you know where the tents are around you and yada, yada. So anyways, I wake up in the middle of the night.
Did you say you always hear about people getting shot?
Yeah, and during hunting
that's
trips,
not a daily conversation.
Yeah,
I've never heard of someone getting shot at a camping trip.
It's accidental, but someone pretends to be a bear, and I heard one of the guys also shoot through their tent because they're scared and they kill a guy. But I woke up in the middle of the night. There was
fucking hilarious. If somebody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play a prank on Devin," and then they just like walk over and they're like, "Arr!" and then Devin just fucking blows a hole through the tent.
No, so middle of the night, I wake up and something is sniffing my head. In the middle of the night, it's by my head. I can feel it and sniffing me, and I'm like, "Fuck, it's got to be a bear." So you literally stop breathing. I'm like, so I got my rifle next to me, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And I know Kevin's here, Kendall's there, all the guys are behind me or in front of me. No one is behind me. So I slam my clip in my gun, and I'm like, if this thing doesn't stop sniffing, I'm blowing holes through this tent. So I'm panicking. It's middle of the night. I'm in the 7 hours into a bush in the middle of nowhere up north of Bassett. And I'm just panicking, and this thing is sniffing my tent, and I'm just like, so I just start yelling for someone to wake up. Kendall, my buddy Kendall's closer now. He's an avid hunter, These guys are always hunting. No one's waking up. The only guy who wakes up is my buddy Kevin, who is more scared than I am of anything. And he's like, I'm like, Kevin, there's something at my tent. And he's like, I ain't coming out. I'm like, man, save me. Like, you're the one who brought me on this trip, man. Like, you guys conned me. That's not con me. I'm gonna fucking die out here. And that's all he does is grab his light and flash it through his tent to my tent. Like, not even open the door, just through the tent, and this thing is gone. But I have my gun.
So it was a bear, though?
I don't know what it was. Don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was just about to start blowing holes through my tent.
I thought the story was going to end with, like, it was one of your buddies pranking you. And
no, it was something.
I was waiting for.
No, it was something. I could not fall back asleep ever. Wow. Anyways, that was a trip we did. We ended up getting a moose. So when you get a moose, or when you get an animal that way, it's a lot of work. So you quarter it up, you put it in cheesecloth, and we hung it for the night so that the bears didn't come back. But we had a kayak or canoe that thing out the next day, and it took us 9 hours to canoe that moose out. So you have your pack with your tent, your guns. I made the mistake of bringing along a bunch of moonshine in glass bottles, which is super heavy. So you have to carry your shit out. You don't want to leave your garbage at camp because that's just not good for the environment. You got to be a good hunter. We took 9 hours to get there. We had like 11. So you're carrying your canoe, a quarter of a moose on each of our backs. One has the head and the antlers. One each has a quarter. All your gear, like you're probably carrying 100, and you're doing these trips up and down these slippery rocks and falling. I lost 7 pounds in 3 days on that trip. Yeah.
So did you have fun? Like, were you glad you went?
I did.
Like,
yeah,
really? That sounds fucking horrible.
You haven't said one thing that appeals to me.
No.
My buddies will list this and be like, Devin, you were crying in a tent. Yeah. So I had a bit of a nervous breakdown on that trip. I don't leave my house, right? And I have a lot of issues with things that happened in my past. I guess I just have never dealt with because I don't do counseling. I don't do all that. So I get on this hunting trip, guys, and I literally have a full-on breakdown in this tent. And I'm like sobbing I couldn't stop. A buddy's like, man, you've got a lot of undealt with shit you haven't. I'm like, I'm stuck in a bush. You have nowhere to go, so you have to deal with your bullshit, right? Yeah. I'm in this tent, Milnors, and I got my buddy's son just staring at me, and I'm just like pouring tears. I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying, but I'm like, had a full-on mental breakdown. It was kind of good because I had dealt with some internal shit I hadn't dealt with, but fuck, I'm never going. I don't know if I'll ever do a trip like that again. I didn't have control. I'm a control freak. It was their canoes. I had no way out of that trip, and once I realized I had no way out, I started freaking out. because I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't get out of this place.
Dear
and I'm
God,
like,
make me bird. So
Yeah.
I can fly far. Dear God,
they
make
were
me
actually, they were getting me out of that trip early because I'm like, I'm out. I was after Heather, but I'm like, I'm out of here. Let's kayak, let's canoe me out of here. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll take you out. And actually, when we were leaving, we're all like drinking, taking shots of moonshine, having yada, yada. We're like, hey, I'm out. And we look, and my buddy Kevin's like, should we shoot that moose over there? And we're all just laughing because we're yelling. We got orange tarps up. We're yelling and whatnot. I'm like, what do you mean? We turn, and there's this moose just staring at us. And it's the only thing we've seen all week. So we just, we just boom, 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 and then we got that. And then, but then I had to stay for another night. Yeah. But yeah, so I enjoy it. My daughter Morgan now is 12, so she's going to do hunter safe this year. And she really wants to get into hunting. And now I just bought 160 acres. It's got deer stands in it and everything. And I have my cabin out by the Crown Land. So this year I'm going to do hunting. Nice. Morgan wants to do hunting. It's common ground for me and her. Really, I've taught her you only shoot what you eat. So she knows she has to butcher it. She knows we have to process the meat. She knows. So when I build my new place, I'm probably going to build a little butcher shop in there. Yeah. Just a small area for us to do it. Because I've bought all the commercial meat slices. I've bought all that shit for me and my father. Unless we have we got our gun loading equipment and everything. So I'm going to do that.
This is clearly the beginning of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type.
No, I'm not.
But I will. There's going to be a movie.
Would you come hunting?
Would I?
Yeah.
Not that fucking trip, that's for sure.
No, but just out to my place?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that.
Would you be able to, like, skin a deer, gut it?
I mean, we got this a little bit last time. I think that I could.
We're not, not the human side. Legit, would you think?
I think that I could.
Yeah, like you'd eat the meat.
Yeah.
I'd eat the meat for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there'd be like Manitoba Chainsaw Massacre where it's like they'll be like the movie.
I might write that.
The movie would be unbelievable because you'd be like, well, why would there be a butcher shop in the house? Like that doesn't make sense. Like that, like it wouldn't. It would be like this is too outlandish. Like this couldn't be. It's like based on a true story. It's like no fucking way would somebody have a butcher shop in their house. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm building this off thing. Whenever the bank says, hey, you can have money, and I'll build this thing. So I'm building a barn dominion, so it'll be whatever 5,500 square feet I'm going to build with mezzanines and everything else. But I'm going to concrete in a nice little cool area so I can have. I want to build it, so I'm one and done. I'm not building again. It's going to have my shop space in there. It's going to have a wash bay for the cars. I'm designing it once and done. So that's why I'm waiting to get enough money. All right, I need to save up some money and do some more business deals to get what I need because I want to do it and I'm done. And that is it. So I will have a little butcher shop in there. I'll have my little gym space in there. We'll have everything. And the wife will have everything she needs to cook me meals. No, I mean, like she'll have I want to be able to take the game from the bush right onto my plate, and then she'll be in there somewhere making it. And that has to be the right sequence. That's fair. It's a good minute.
It's reasonable.
Yeah. She loves being married.
We can cut this part out if we don't want to do it. But I was thinking, do you want to do like what's up?
It's our show. We can do what we want.
Yeah,
no.
And you have to listen. So guess what? You're gonna hear this.
I was gonna say we could do like a podcast sneak preview of the events for Morris if you wanted to use that as a
hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about those. Yeah. We haven't put them up. We'll put them up this week then, I guess.
Yeah, we'll put them out this week, but we'll
the week that this episode comes out.
We'll put them up before this episode.
Yeah. No. Let's make it so they can hear it on here first, then we'll put it out after that because there's lots of time still.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the events for the Pro-Am competition in Morris, and all of our treasured listeners here will get a sneak preview of what the events are. So the first thing that we're looking at is we talked so much about max effort events and whether we can do them at open shows. We can, and we're doing one. So it's going to be a max log. We haven't decided if it's going to be rising bar or if it's going to be like 3 attempt selects yet, but that'll be determined based on time. Get ready for a heavy log.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a ladder car deadlift.
I've never seen that done.
I think I saw it one time at a circuit show, but
can you
no. I
have 3 car deadlift apparatuses that I own. Yeah. They're all different. So we got 2 side handle, 1 front handle. Yeah. So we're gonna do a rising. We're gonna weigh them out, and it'll be different. And it'll be a side handle, front handle, side handle, all with different weights, and it'll be heavy enough that the amateurs probably won't make it till the last one unless they're really, really, really high caliber amateur. But it'll be the pros. Even some of the pros won't. The plan is to get the pros not even all to make it to the last one, but the last one is for reps.
Okay.
So that the amateurs can still get the first one, but then the pros will still show their strength and get to the last one, and then reps.
And that's something that we're trying to do with this competition. The same as Manitoba's Strongest Man is make it like scalable.
Yeah.
Inclusive. So that it's inclusive. Good word. So we're trying to make sure that like there's you can, even if you can't get like say like the last one, you can get the first one, or
so at least you're not pulling zeros.
Right. So if it's a max log, everyone can hit their max. You know what I mean? So so there's you got to get on the board at least.
Yeah. Almost like powerlifting where you pick your opener.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I think we're going to start at a certain weight. Like I don't want to see 180
We'll probably do
logs.
rising bar where we'll start it at like let's say 250, and then we'll go up 20-pound jumps or 10-pound
that's
jumps
what I'm thinking
or whatever
we'll
it
end
might
up,
be.
yeah.
And you can either choose take it or not take it or whatever.
I don't know if mentally I can handle odd numbers. We might start 260.
Okay, fair enough. And then
55.
I can't like doing 250, 270. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do that.
we'll do kilo plates and then convert it to pounds.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that.
And then we're doing a Hercules hold. Speaking of, we talked earlier about the weird implements that you don't see everywhere.
Yeah.
We're
We
very
want to
excited
make
for that
this
one.
desirable.
Yes, and this is like I said. There's a lot of the pros haven't gotten a chance to do a Hercules hold in competition. So
And that's a really nice implement.
yeah, and it's a really nice Hercules hold. So really excited to bring that one out. That was what did I say? 3 things there.
That's 3. Yeah.
We are doing a duck walk into a load, so like a power stair. I know I hate duck walks too, but at least
I have 5 different duck walks.
we're making it cool because we're making so that you have to not only do the duck walk, but you do like a power stair at the end to load it up onto. So that's kind of like our
Just
loading.
one?
Just the one stair I think we're doing. Yeah.
But you'll probably do anywhere from 3 to 5 duck walks, 10 or 20 feet. So you have to have the ability to move with these weights.
It's gonna be a really really horrible event.
Duck walks are
And
so stupid.
I know. And
Only because I hate them.
Especially when you hang on to face plant.
if you're
Well, I have
if
like
you're
a
if you're a
27
short
inch
if you're a
inseam.
shorter guy, yeah, they're fucking horrible.
I'm all torso. My limbs are just like we forgot to grow.
And then we
I
are
know what that's
we're,
like.
we're TBD on the moving events based
Yeah.
on the space that we have, but we're thinking either it'll be like a yoke run or perhaps even like a harness pull, like a truck pull of some kind.
Yeah.
Just depends on the space that we have. We're not sure yet. And then
I have to go meet with him and check out. It's all asphalt though. We got.
I'm missing one.
That's 5.
Log, deadlift, Hercules hold, some
Duck
sort of
walk.
a run. Oh, you're right.
And then so it's either going to be a farmer walk, yoke, frame, yada yada something, or the harness pull. And that's going to come down to when we do the logistics of how many people are signed up, in a sense, and how much time we have if with those max effort events.
And the space that we have at the venue.
Yeah. Space we have lots. I talked to him
Do we?
the other day.
Oh, okay.
We got. He said we can have 200-300 feet of just asphalt.
Oh, great.
He's like Morris is stepping up huge. This Brian guy I'm dealing with there at the Rumble. He's got warm up tents for the competitors. He's like whatever we need, they're giving us.
I would say get ready for a harness pull then.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. We would try to make it so that it's not super far from Westerns because Westerns is less than a month away after that.
Yeah.
So I want it to be things that guys can kind of train towards both things, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I think this will be a different enough show too that it'll stand out on its own. It won't be like it won't be Westerns light. It'll be its own show.
Yeah, I think the Hercules hold will be really. A lot of guys are excited for the Hercules.
I'm excited to see a guy like Jeffers who's got fucking big
Hands.
banana hands. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he'll be able to hold on to that thing really. Or if Tristan Hoth from
The white Mark Felix or what?
well, Tristan Hoth is like his grip is retarded, and he'll be able to do some pretty incredible things. Like he's got this. Yeah, it'll be crazy, and yeah. So hopefully some of those guys can make it their way out. And like when we're talking about like a max log, like man, I'm shooting for 350 sometime soon, and that will put me firmly at the bottom of where the logs are at right now. These guys are fucking nuts.
You're aiming for what, 350?
I'd like to hit 350 in the next little bit, but like say like I don't remember who I was watching, but one of the guys from the circuit was hitting like 365 for strict reps. Like these guys are just like unbelievable the stuff that they can do. So I'm fighting to get up there with those guys. You know what I mean? But yeah, but anyway, the competition is going to be really awesome. There's going to be really a ton of good competitors there. So that's the events and
Well, the amateurs too. Like the amateurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we say the deadlift weight start, like it's going to be the first car is going to be anywhere from 500 to 600 pounds in the hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still going to be heavy, and then it's going to jump significantly second to third car.
We're kind of getting to a point now where I feel like we're getting, for the first time in a long time, we have enough good guys in Manitoba or guys who are getting good or who are going to be good that we don't have to baby these shows anymore.
Yeah, make them super light.
Yeah, for a long time, we really kind of had to be like, okay, so for a Saskatchewan show, this would be very light, but it's Manitoba, so we're going to whatever. So now we're at a point now where it's like I said, we got Dan coming in to do this. We got Nate coming in to do this one. Yeah. Blakely. There's a lot of guys who are just like really good on an amateur level that we don't have to like necessarily baby them as much.
Yeah,
anymore,
I think Corey was even showing interest in
Corey. Like he's a guy who's improving Corey Aiken's a guy who's improving
puts
every
it
year.
all on the line every time. Yeah.
Yeah, like these guys are just getting better, and it's just like we're finally getting to a point where it's like okay, like we have a competitive group of guys.
Yeah.
Who and it's like Dan's a guy who I believe in the next few years will go pro.
Yep.
And like he's kind of a guy who's doing it like in spite of his own like physical limitations. Like he's like a shorter dude and stuff, but he's just really really strong and really really dedicated. Like I don't know Scott coming from like he doesn't know me from a fucking hole in the ground, but I hear stories about him when he started and he was just like not meant to be as good as he is. Just like
he heart and willed his way to all the success he had.
Right, and like I said,
dude,
like
I competed with him in Western 2012.
Yeah,
and I met him, a great guy. And what I seen there, I was like, this is why I'll never make it to the top. Like I was willing to lay it out, but that guy just was willing to take it even further than anybody else was.
Yeah. And so like I said, he doesn't know. I'm very aware of him because he's a fucking awesome name in the sport of strongman.
Yeah,
especially Western Canada.
Yeah, he wouldn't be aware of me, but it's just like he. From what I hear about him is what I'm seeing with Dan, which is like just balls and like just showing up and doing the work and going and making sure it's all getting done.
He's a total Dan. The limited times I've met him, like a total blue collar guy. Like you just
blue collar excellence, man.
You know he's just gonna come, punch the clock, work, and
he doesn't have the hype up for the event. He just strolls on up. I always call him. He fucking just reminds me of Mario. Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
That's what I think when I see him and Tyler standing side by side.
Oh, you meant Lemieux.
Well, you never know, right? But when him and Tyler roll up, because Tyler's so tall compared to Dan, it's literally like Mario and Luigi rolling up. And with his mustache, but he just rolls up so casually.
He's about my height.
Pulls his thing, passes out,
I think he is
falls
about your
over.
height, yeah.
We got to catch him before he hits the ground when he passes all the time.
Oh,
he gets back up. Did I get it?
But yeah, it's just nice that there's finally a few guys that are kind of pushing the envelope a little bit too.
And there's more coming in. Like the novice show, that was the biggest show we had.
There was a few guys at that show who really surprised me.
And who are showing potential. Some of the smaller guys that are like, and you got to think like, you look at even like Maxime Boudreau back when 2010 or 8 when he started, if you look at pictures of him and I think it was Yannick he was training with, they weren't big dudes.
No.
And now look where he is now. So and that's taken 10, 12 years of training to get there.
It's funny that you mentioned Yannick because when you said Maxine, we did, it was like Fort Francis or something way back with both Maxine and Yannick. And they were kind of average dudes, like middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And then you blink and a couple years go by and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it's so these new kids coming in the sport that are in their early 20s that now do the novice show and they're like, hey, we like this. If it's not a sprint, you're not getting to the top in 3 years. But if these guys in 5 years of developing through our shows and what we're trying to do, what me and you are doing now in Manitoba Strongman is trying to develop for years to come.
Right.
We did those light shows. You're saying we had to do these light shows, but they're finally building athletes now that are at a level where they're going bigger. So it worked in a roundabout way. It worked. Obviously, we wish more, but yeah, it's getting there.
First of all, I want every single person who is at the novice show to sign up for something coming up. But realistically, if we get like the top 5 guys, like Thrones is not switching over to strongman from powerlifting. But like let's say that Jesse dude, I think he's pretty limited in what he wants to do in strongman, but I know he's going to do some competitions and stuff. Like if we can get a bunch of those guys just ride out a season, I think that they would really like it. I think that they, like as an example, like the new girl Anna.
Yeah.
Like I think that she's just seen, like she's come out to St. Maldas a couple times. She's competed. She's seen that like, oh, this is like a little different than when I'm training. She still loves Olympic lifting, but it's a little different than that kind of training. It's like, first of all, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not as repetitive or as boring and stuff. And it's just like if there's a, anybody who does strongman knows all this shit. It's kind of hack and cliche, but it's like there's a real camaraderie to strongman that you don't get in any other sports.
It's an individual sport that's really a team sport,
right?
Or a team sport disguised as an individual sport.
I said this, man. Like when I went to St. Malo last week to train with Dan after the competition. Me and him were training for the same competition, so we're doing all the same shit. If he wasn't doing that, I would have been so fucking out of there. Like I was like, we had to set up and fucking weigh everything and move things out of the way, put things back, and like I was like, man, if this was me by myself, I'd be fucking.
You wouldn't do it.
I'd be gone. There's just no way. There's like after that full day of helping with the competition and stuff, I would have been out of there. But there's another guy there, so now it's like he's here, I'm here. What the fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna be the one to say I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like no way.
So building the sport in Manitoba, I had a girl message on the Strong and Petty page yesterday. Listener podcast, she's from Steinbach, from Stonebrook Strength. So she's a coach there, I think, if I'm correct. Yeah, she's a strength coach. And she was asking me, and she's a competitive powerlifter. And she was asking me, I'd love to sit down with you guys, or me, she was asking, and how to get more women into the sport of powerlifting. And we ended up just going on a talk for a while on
bully them.
So I had asked him, like, well,
we
have you ever
don't care about powerlifting.
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever thought about coming to try Strong Women? And she's like, yeah, she said she watched the 8 chance she gets on TV. Turns out she has a cabin in Rose River just south of my place. So
let's not dox the lady here.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm gonna just see
what's
if I
her
can,
number, like any other information.
So we're gonna end up. She's gonna come down to my gym hopefully and try it out. But I was saying we're having the same issue. Is she's like, how can we get people involved in strength sports, like women in general? I said, well, we've been trying for years, and it is coming. Now we had 12 girls sign up at the novice show, 10 or 12, which is phenomenal, and a bunch of them I hope will stick around. So it just means that even this podcast is making it out there and getting local women interested in this in Strong, which is exactly our goal. This was a big reason behind this podcast. Was obviously we want to shoot the shit, become famous. But no, it was to generate more just.
I'm just trying to get Instagram followers.
I just like leave my house every once in a while.
Yeah, no, but it's going to work good. I think we're ready making an impact. Then that people are like, hey, I'm hearing this stuff, and it makes me want to get into the sport. Which was the goal behind this.
So we've just hit our 60-minute mark here, but just before to kind of put a bow on that. The best thing, like to answer the sort of question that you gave, the best thing that you can do to get people involved in the sport is just bring them around.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy when someone not everybody, but the right person, when they see what training is, when they see what competing is, when they see like that, it's just like it's fun, it's casual, it's hanging around, and like you're gonna do things you've never done before, and like pick up weights you never thought you could pick up. It's fun and it's really addictive, and I think that goes for men and women alike. Where if you how many times have you just had somebody just like see someone else doing strongman, they're like, I'd like to try that. That's how I got started. I saw Dom doing it, and I was like,
that's exactly how I got started. Guy invited me out to try it out, and I just.
But if you weren't around it, if you didn't see it, you wouldn't do it. Yeah. That's the thing.
Like I think when people come out and train with a group, like when we train at my gym or your gym, we get together and the whole group's together. If you could get some new people to come in and try it out those days, when they would see the camaraderie, the competitiveness, the bantering, that you're making fun of this guy and you're trying to beat him, but the overall group of it and how much fun it is, the bantering, the camaraderie behind Strongman is bar none. I haven't played football, I haven't played those sports, but it's not. I did the bodybuilding, I've done the other ones. It's nothing like that. It's so much more fun. The team environment, even though you're competing against each other, is unbeatable.
I've said before that right now until the end of May, and probably continuing on as there's more shows, me and Dan are going to St. Malo every Saturday, and anyone who wants to come is welcome. Come along with us.
Is it Saturday? You're coming this Sunday though.
This Sunday it'll be Sunday this week, but normally it's Saturdays, and anybody from any gym who has any experience level is more than welcome to come out there with us. Yep. If you are at all interested in trying strongman, like this is me kind of putting my money where my mouth is that I will come hang out with us.
It's a $10 drop-in fee in my gym.
Yeah,
I don't. You get access to all the.
However weird and off-putting you might be, I'm inviting you to come hang out with us. Yeah. So that's. No, I'm just kidding. But if anybody is just interested in just like,
kidding.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in just seeing it or trying it, like I urge you just to come out, because like to answer that, to put a bow on that question, the way to get people involved is just see the sport.
Don't see a professional.
You should stay off-putting.
Off-putting? Yeah.
Don't see a professional transition.
Guy.
One other great way to get women into the sport is to sign them up for Deadlifts for Dreams.
That is, honestly,
telling you $250 and a membership in my gym, and I'll get your deadlift training.
Dip your toe into it by trying something like this where there's no stakes and there's no.
Well, and we're doing the card deadlift for Deadlift Dreams.
Yeah.
What better way to try a
card
strongman
deadlift and I should watch my wording. Conventional deadlift. I don't mean that you can't do sumo.
Yeah, Gian was like, "Oh, I can't."
She messaged me, and I was like, "Okay, poor wording on my just your regular old ass deadlift.
Schwinn just automatically pulls, or not Schwinn thrones. I'm not can't do sumo.
But it actually is. It's just a deadlift, so it's not a whole competition.
But
you get to be around the people. You get to be around the people. You get to see what it's like.
Yeah.
You're in the warm up room. You get the whole experience without committing to like a whole show.
Right.
And then on top of it, you're part of an absolutely great cause.
I said it last time. The worst thing that happens is you raise some money for charity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like if you go up there and bomb out, and you have the worst fucking day of your life, and you don't get any lifts. Oh wow, I only raised money today. You know what I mean?
Some kid with a disability 10 times worse than we'll ever probably have.
Yeah.
Got his dream trip because you helped raise money.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what's better than that. Yeah.
Yep.
So as long as we make sure we
ready to stick a fork in this bitch then?
Yeah. What's the shows coming up? Did we start this show or did we end last show? I think we should end every show with the upcoming shows.
Yeah, so we got May 27th, Tolstoy, June 10th, Morris Pro-Am, and July 1st is going to be Vita.
In a couple of weeks, too, not directly related to us, but I think it's April 15th. Is this too late?
Yeah, this will be gone past then. Yeah.
Fuck it. Never mind then. I was going to say, there's a WRPF powerlifting meet that everyone should go to. But
I got a couple people training to compete in that one. They will have competed and set massive PRs by the time this airs, so congratulations.
Perfect. Congratulations to all of them.
On your massive PRs.
Well, then you know what? Fuck the WRPF then, I guess. And
no, I like seeing new feds.
No, they're
I'm
awesome.
really happy about that.
I really hope that they come in and make a huge splash because they are doing stuff that no one else is doing, and they're making powerlifting really cool and fun, which it has not been for a long time.
Make powerlifting great again.
There you go. It's been.
I coined that shirt.
Yeah,
still kicking around somewhere.
MPGA.
You know, the people who are doing powerlifting right now, hey, you're all great, but this new thing is going to come in. It's going to make it really exciting. There's going to be a lot of new factors. There's money. There's cash. There's
wraps.
There's different there's different things. There's the tested and the untested and all this shit. So it's going to be just a lot. It's going to be a really fun show to watch.
Yeah.
At Beakley Mobile, at Deadlift for Dreams, at Devin Penner, at Training Grounds, at Manitoba Strongman, at Strong and Petty, at Chud Life, at Iron Age Strength. Thanks for listening. Go fuck yourself.